Take two. Hey guys. Strangely, I think they're back. Strangely, the last few quarter podcasts have been getting messed up, dropped out. Strange things happen, I can assure you, in the state of Victoria when you start questioning the regime. Believe me, it's bonkers. If you got exposed to it, if you could see through these little eyes, you'd be astounded. But anyhow, let's pick up a little bit from where I left off the other day, which was what led to me being in this position. The mismanagement I was exposed to in places like the squillion gazillion dollar Ravenhall Correctional Centre. Aside the 70 odd, mostly young females that were thrown under the bus and left their jobs in the first 3 months of the place opening due to the mismanagement, let's throw in this little doozy. This is the type of thing that leads me to be the nutcase that I am. So we've got taxpayers' money getting spent by Daniel Andrews, who came swinging in, I'm going to reduce the women's domestic violence rate if you vote for me, okay? No, don't worry about the fact that we ran over a child and lied about it. I'm going to reduce the women's domestic violence rate, okay? So in comes Daniel Andrews, gets voted in. Don't get me wrong, Ravenhall was already well and truly underway. It was getting constructed, but he played politics well and truly with the women's domestic violence rate. Ravenhall Correctional was already announced as the big souped up double pumper prison. This is the type of bonkersness. There's a saying which you'll probably hear me say a lot from the wonderful Nelson Mandella. Nelson Mandela is quoted as saying something along the lines of, nobody truly knows their nation until they've spent time in one of their prisons. I can relate wholeheartedly. So after watching helicopters circling, thinking, hey, that's a bit of excitement for the day. What's going on there? And then it ends up being the announcement of a 700-bed programs prison that's, although it's getting built by the government, the contract is going to be handed out to tender to the private industry. That was whatever it was, 2012, 11 even, who knows. Come the tragic situation surrounding Jill Meagher and the political hot potato that incident turned into, and the women's domestic violence rate and the marching in Brunswick Street and everything, as you could expect when a person commits a heinous murder, particularly when that person was on both parole and bail. So Daniel Andrews saw an opening. Boom, he's going to deal with this. And he started playing politics with something so serious as our women dying there, Charlie. And what ended up happening almost instantly, he inherited the Ravenhall build. And that instantly turned into ad hoc, on the fly, similar to when you hear these on the fly changes to the plans and the budgets in the places like the SRL, Suburban Rail Link. Same thing with the prison. On the fly, it turned to an 1,100 bed, and they threw in a few little, you can see in the building of it, they threw in a few little ants and changes here and there, and right, we'll just chuck in something here, and okay, what about that? You reckon we can sticky tape that there? Yeah, okay. These are $1 billion things. I'll tell you, the kicker ends up, there'll be a day I'll spend explaining to you a lot of kickers, very funny ones, but let me just explain to you what we're dealing with. We're dealing with concrete. Clearly somebody in the upper offices had a mate in the concrete business, but not in the sporting equipment business, because that place ended up, I promise you, with outdoor table tennis tables. There's one for you young blokes to go and try when you've had a few beers. Outside table tennis. You get about one shot and the ball's all over the place. I mean, who thinks of this? Who spends taxes? Oh yeah, that looks nice. You know, I wouldn't mind like an outdoor table tennis. You ever played table tennis? No, but yeah, it kind of looks, I'm sure they'll like it. I'm sure they'll like it. It's just bonkers. Anyhow, so here's Daniel Andrews making all his changes. Right, we're going to put beds and... Then, hang on a minute. Who are you going to get to staff it? Staff it? You mean... We met... right. Okay. All right, don't you worry. We'll fix that. Crunches, give me some data on employment, right? Well, what's an area? Okay, we've got this thing called cookery. A lot of migrants are coming in and they're like studying cookery to get around the loophole so they can come here on a student visa. So we've got excellent numbers in 2013, 14, 15. Oh, okay, great. It ends up, that was an exaggeration, that little joke I just said then, but it ends up being somehow in all that madness of mismanaged, unthought out nonsense with your money, that they thought, right, we'll employ an ex-commercial chef. No, not as a prison officer. No, not as a drug counselor. No, not even to run the kitchen. This mofo was a unit supervisor in a remand yard. And anybody who knows 1 second about the prison system knows remand yards are notoriously... People are fresh off the street and it's higher for incidents. Okay, let's just put it that way. It's madness. Remand in comparison to sentence prisons, in case you don't know, is chaos. So here's this chef, literally a chef. Yeah, I've run commercial. Oh, gee, those pesky kitchen hands. I've bust a few kitchen hands around. Don't you worry. What? Inmates? I'll deal with that. And here's this chef who goes and gets himself a chef masquerading as, no, not a prison officer, a unit suit. He's running the joint. He's bringing the place in, huddle in, bring in, you know, giving pep talks to the inmates who are just like looking at each other, scratching their heads like, is this for real? Anyhow, this chef ends up getting himself into some criminal and internal investigation bother. Somehow, the tinfoil hat guy believes they used it as a way to maybe set me up for being a smartass. I don't know. Somehow, my name got thrown in the ruck, which led to a decade of your money being spent on stalking me, and it snowballed from there. It turned into like the woke mind virus and, oh, geez, you know, how? Bonkers. It was because of that. From that day, the moment I got out, I had little government gang stalkers sitting off me. I had people that looked like they just stumbled in off the set of Deliverance. I kid you not. People that looked like they just stumbled in off the set of Deliverance, trying to keep me off public computers and just playing the little cooking game. All started by me speaking up to that type of nonsense. I will go into it in full detail because these people, they should be held to account. If people are sitting in prison, I know people who have done 5 years prison. People who have not had the best of upbringings, they've done 5 years prison for stealing $100,000 worth of mobile flippin' phones. And here's these mung beans orchestrating some of the most heinous, I'm talking about weaponized sex offenses. I'm talking about using women in the most degrading, demeaning way. I'm talking worse, using their children, the children that were removed from them, due to their mess of a life, their drug-addicted mess of a life, the toddlers removed from them because of that, being dangled over their heads as like leveraging to get them to do the bidding, the dirty work, not to solve crimes, to get at a whistleblower in Victoria, Australia. Are you kidding? Toddler currency, disenfranchised, and then they scratch their heads. Why do you think we've got such a bad crime problem? What, you think that's all intertwined? You think, like, giving toddlers back to drug addicts, like, without them having solved their drug problems is, like, intertwined to it all somehow? No, like, really? Serious? No, but, like, oh, look, anyhow, it's not our job, okay? I am in corrections, okay? I am in the police. Literally, think about what you're doing, you